How's it going, guys? Welcome back to another week and another Destiny 2 build video. Get some stuff out of the way. Even though the season is almost over, um, I know that people wait until the last second to farm, farm stuff or Ingram prepping from Lost Sectors for the next season. So here's a build that was given to me by one of my Discord community members, which came in clutch because this is not a video I had planned on doing. I was going to start working on like my Solar 3.0 series, exotics to look out for, exotics to farm for. And well, Bungie hasn't really announced anything yet, and I know that it's, everybody's like, "Oh, it's Solar because of leaks." Well, I don't want to base content around leaks because, what if they're wrong? They're not always very reliable. So with that, we have what we have today. Uh I apologize for any background noise because I'm not going to try to re-record much because it is 90 degrees outside and I have to turn my fans off for this. So I'm going to do this as quickly and as cleanly as I possibly can in the first take. So again, I apologize for any background noise you're going to hear. Now let's start this by prefacing I am not a Titan main. A lot of people will claim that I technically don't have one. My alliance is with the Hunters. So I have never really used a build like this, and that build is going to be based around the exotic Peregrine Greaves, which comes with the exotic perk Peregrine Strike. All shoulder charge abilities, Seismic Strike, Hammer Strike, or Shield Bash deal bonus damage when activated in the air. We're going to be using Shield Bash. This is a Void Titan build. While you're running to activate your shoulder charge ability, if you do a little jump before you press your melee button, you're going to do, that additional damage. If you do it correctly, you're going to get a buff above your super bar that says Peregrine Strike. And this boosts all your shoulder charge damage by roughly 300%. I did like 35 minutes of testing damage numbers, and with Shield Bash, it's about 320% technically, but it is what it is. And we're gonna pair this with another exotic, a weapon. It's okay. We're gonna pair it with Monte Carlo, which comes with the exotic perk Monte Carlo Method. Dealing damage with this weapon reduces your melee cooldown and grants a chance to fully charge your melee ability with each kill. Definitely not fully needed. However, it is extremely helpful when you want to get your melee back in those moments where you want to defeat champions. I mostly use this to assist my melee charge and, deal with regular red bar enemies. Obviously, if you have like overload champions, you can, use this with overload, but do not stress too much about it if you need to run something else. Another thing too is that this build I primarily used in Lost Sectors for one-shotting champions, so that this way you can get through those Lost Sectors faster, get your reward quicker. So let's look at, what we're running on our Void Titan specifically for this build. The first thing we're going to look at is obviously Shield Bash. After sprinting for a short time, use this melee ability to unleash a devastating Shield Bash that suppresses the target. Final blows with Shield Bash grants an overshield. This ability is, the main focus of the build, along with the Peregrine Greaves. A few other things is that it'll be able to one-shot, it'll be able to one-shot it'll be able to either one-shot them or leave them low enough for an easy finisher, and with fragments we can use those finishers to our advantage. Second thing we're going to look at, Controlled Demolition. Hitting a target with a void ability or volatile explosions makes them volatile. Further damage to a volatile target causes them to explode. Grants you and nearby allies health when volatile targets explode near you. Fantastic for like, extra ad clear if you have to manage to get a non-Peregrine Shield Bash off on, like, let's say a group of Thrall. The volatile is going to spread, kill them, heal you. It's going to be very nice. It actually came in pretty clutch compared to what I thought it was going to be. Second, Bastion. Cast your super to grant overshield to nearby allies. Casting your barricade grants you overshield and nearby allies and empowers it, enabling it to slowly regenerate the overshield of allies bunkering behind it and extend their overshield duration. This was really good at keeping me alive. Giving me better survivability in case things got a little rough, like if I had to hide from like overloads, because the Lost Sector that I ran to do this has those pesky overload hobgoblins and their stupid retaliation bolts that do way too much damage. First fragment on this list that we're going to look at is Echo of Undermining. Your Void Grenade weakens targets, minus 20 discipline. This is a much more important fragment than I thought. When I was given this build, I says, let's take Undermining out. It's too much of a hit to our grenade, to our discipline, and it's needed. Especially if you want to get those one-shots on those champions. It applies a 15% debuff, on those champions. So, you throw the grenade, you stun them, you shoulder charge them. They're going to either die or they're going to be finishable. In the case with overloads, when you run overload grenades, all you have to do is throw the grenade, and it makes it a lot easier. Second fragment, Echo of Persistent. Void buffs applied to you, invisibility, overshield, and devour, have increased duration, minus 10 resilience. This is going to let us keep whatever overshields we get longer, and just to let us stay alive just a little bit longer when we need to peek out of, corners or around walls and such. And lastly, Echo of Obscurity. Finish your final blows, grant invisibility. So let's say you get your shield bash off, and the champ isn't defeated but low enough to finish. Well, now you can get the finish, go invisible, get back to cover instead of, getting caught out of cover for too long and potentially, getting killed. It was really helpful for the times that I did have to finish a champion. I think it was like once or twice. It's very helpful. It lets you, actually be able to use this build a little more willy-nilly, I guess would be the correct term. Not even really correct term, but you get what I mean. You can go absolute Titan brain with this thing with that particular fragment when you go invisible, when your shoulder charge just isn't up to the task. Now, let's look at the armor mods that we're going to use to help make this build, just a little better and honestly feel really, really consistent. First mod on this list is Well of Tenacity. Picking up a Void Elemental Well reduces the damage you take from combatants for a short period of time. This is probably, hands down the best survivability mod in the game, so we're going to use it to help us get, out of some potentially hazardous situations. Because to make these wells, we're going to run Melee Well Maker. Powered melee, combatant final blow spawn, elemental wells matching your subclass energy type. We're going to be using our charge melee every chance we get, so let's make wells from it in order to get Tenacity and other mods working. And speaking of Tenacity again, let's support it by using Elemental Time Dilation. Elemental Well mods that grant you time-limited benefits now stack, increasing the duration of the effect for each copy of the mod you have equipped. So, when it comes to this, I know it says additional, but when you have one of the mods on, it will still increase the duration of that time, because it's like, having its own copy or whatever. So it's going to make Tenacity last longer so that you will have a little bit extra time to get out of cover. It's nice to have. Now, let's throw a little bit of Charged with Light spice in there with Heavy Handed. While Charged with Light, regain half your melee energy when you use a charged melee ability, consuming 1 stack of Charged with Light. While this is a very expensive mod to use, this makes it so we don't need to run things like Melee Kickstart or Outreach, as well as giving us a lot more time on our melee overall. If you're using this in addition with Monte Carlo, you're going to have your melee up pretty much all the time if you're using Monte Carlo a lot. So to become Charged with Light, let's use Elemental Charge. Become Charged with Light by picking up an Elemental Well. If the Elemental Well's elemental type matches your subclass element, you gain 2 stacks of Charged with Light. This will give us 2 stacks because we are using Void with Void, which will allow us to get another charge, and then it'll just keep feeding itself because you get that first. The only problem that I have is getting that first melee kill. You get that first melee kill, there's no heavy-handed to really assist you with the next charge. But now when you get that next charge, you have heavy-handed to work. So now you're going to shoulder charge, you're going to burn a Charge with Light, and then you're going to get Charged with Light again pretty much immediately because you're picking up these wells and you're becoming Charged with Light again. It's a really nice little loop to have. Definitely nice to have the heavy-handed elemental charge combo. Now, we're going to look at mods that I put on this build that help support it. Give it that little extra edge that helped it push out and just be that ever extra, just that ever bit extra. First thing we're going to look at, Hands On. Gain bonus super energy on melee kills. We're going to get a ton of melee kills, so you know what? Let's get super energy out of it. Really nice. I got my super up quite a bit. Next, Grenade Kickstart. When your grenade energy is fully expended, you gain grenade energy. We want to get our grenade back as much as possible for the weaken effect for those pesky champions or high health targets. If you don't or can't run this, you can try Explosive Finisher, which is where finisher kills refill your grenade and costs 150 your super. Hands On is going to give you your super, and then we're going to spend it with, that Explosive Finisher. Up to you. I preferred Grenade Kickstart. Overload grenades. Void grenades disrupt combatants, stunning them, delaying ability regeneration, and lowering combatant damage output. Strong against Overload champions. I very much despise Overload Auto Rifle and Overload SMG. So this has been very, very clutch for me this season with Echo of Undermining and Vortex grenades. I've literally used it on all my classes. It is very nice to have. And finally, Energy Vampirism. Gain energy for your least charged ability when you suppress a target. This is a nice little extra thing to have. Our Shield Bash suppresses targets, so a little energy back to whatever your lowest ability happens to be is a nice touch. It's probably not going to be your melee, although if your grenade and your barricade are charged, it is automatically the lowest one. So, you might, if you haven't thrown a grenade, which is honestly the first thing you should do when you're fighting a champion, is toss your grenade, apply the weaken, stun them, shoulder charge them. So normally you're going to get energy back for that grenade. Kickstart will proc because you threw it, and then Energy Vampirism will then proc. So it's really nice to have. It's definitely a nice little extra thing. You don't need to run it. I just found it to be very helpful. With that being said, that is the end of the video, and I would like to apologize if it seems scuffed, rushed, or whatever. It's been a very stressful week. Thursday rolled around. Bungie didn't announce anything for Solar. I started scrambling to find something to put out this week. So I found, one of my Discord community members gave me this, and considering it is a fairly well, build, it can be used literally next season too. You literally just need to swap out Energy Vampirism, Overload Grenades, and the one melee Wellmaker with the regular melee Wellmaker. So it's still a very good build, even though next season, because we only have like 9-10 days left in the season. So hopefully this next weekend, I will be able to put out Solar 3.0 videos. I'm going to work on them pretty much all week through and through to try to get them done. So this way I can post them, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. And then people will have the, until reset to get, whatever exotics they may want from that list if they would like to use, the list that I'm giving them. But with that being said, that's the video. I hope everybody has a great day. I'm going to turn my fan back on and start editing this. So hope everybody has a great weekend.